Hi,
You didn't
All
say
people.
right,
the.
welcome everyone to the Discourse Assembly, a community of geekdom, irreverence, and the human condition, whatever that means.
I
If
don't
you
know.
I got your
enjoy this
human condition
content,
right here.
remember to subscribe, share, and smash the like button,
I like it, Matt.
or click it on your mouse if you don't want to break your monitor.
So, I don't know. You guys want to get into it? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Obviously, you have COVID, right? You have George Floyd. Now you have the riots going across the country, not just Minneapolis. And as we see, COVID, which is a huge deal, lockdowns everywhere, got to separate humans, and then now
Is it?
it's violence. So what's going on? What do
Huge,
you
I'm
guys?
just being an ass. Sorry.
huge.
Nothing new there, Greg. So
I
I don't
know.
know what you guys take on all this. I mean, you got COVID, you got George Floyd, and you got the riots. They all kind of just go right together, back to back.
Well, I can tell
Well, I
you.
think. Go
Well,
ahead, Greg.
let me tell you
Greg
mine,
started
Matt.
first.
I want to talk
Go.
about COVID.
Yeah, let him
This
go.
this this, this pisses me off. It kind of. I'm still dealing with it. So we got our plan to go back in the office, right? And
Mhm.
you can't start any earlier than 6:30. So I can't go in early. They got to take your temperature. You got to fill out a form. They have arrows on our our hallways, so you can only go one way around the office.
That's nice.
And they took away all the. They're gonna take all the coffee, all that stuff. Apparently, is gonna go away. It wasn't in the memo, but that's what I heard. No refrigerators, and you have to wear a mask the entire time, even when you're sitting in your
Wow.
cubicle.
Ooh, that's rough. Yeah.
That's where I got off the train. I'm like, I could wear a mask when I get up. I don't mind that, but I don't know if I want to sit for 10 hours a day wearing a mask at a freaking computer screen. You know,
Yeah.
I'm...
Breathing in your own
my own
air.
COVID.
That's right. That's
Recycling his
rough.
own
But
COVID.
I got this email. I had to call a bunch of people. I even talked to my boss about it. And I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand why the company's doing this and what it's coming from, but I look at it and I don't know if I want to work that way. I don't know if I want to live that way.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that. I know other people are doing it. Maybe I'm just being a baby,
Well, you could
but
be being a baby,
that's
but
Well,
not what
I don't
I
know.
signed up
could
for.
you
The,
keep working
the,
from home? Did
Yeah,
they allow you to do that?
yeah, but I don't want to get into it too much. But I'm more of a leader
Oh yeah, that's
there,
right.
and I'm still debating if by not going back, if that's gonna harm me in any way either. You
Yeah,
know.
it's hard to supervise when you're
mm,
not there to supervise.
Well, I'm not. No, that's not really true because you can use. I have Microsoft Teams and all kinds of stuff, um, and everything
but
has to funnel through me. So
you miss out on a lot of little things, not work things, but communal things within
yeah,
the
right.
workforce. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the hey, the boss came up. I need someone to help me do this. Oh, Greg, you're
Yeah.
here, and then you build those. I won't be there for that.
Yeah.
You know, and
I
that's some of
you
the
know
stuff they
the
won't like email me or call me to do. They'll just find someone in the office to do it, right? So
right. And the thing is, like you said, yeah, I'll wear a mask if I'm getting up, walking around. There's nothing in the CDC guidelines that I've seen that would require you to wear a mask if you're not within 6 feet of another person. I haven't seen that.
yeah, well, my work is taking a different approach.
Yeah.
They interpret it differently.
See, we're doing all of that. I mean, we're doing the temperatures.
Yeah.
We're asking people to wear masks in certain areas. We had to change our cubicle spaces for a while, but we've got dividers, so that actually is okay now. We can seat all of our cubicles, but
So
I don't. What I don't like is the whole give an inch, take a mile thing, because I don't know if you guys saw the video with Biden now, where it's on TikTok. Do you see this? Where
the one he
He
farts.
accidentally he farted on me.
no, no,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
because
no.
that
That's
was a
Oh,
great
different.
one. That one I've seen.
I didn't see that
No,
one.
It's good.
no. There's one where he's telling a guy's out walking his dog. He's all by himself. He's outside, and Biden comes on like FaceTime or something. I don't know. And he's like, "Hey, man." He's like, "If you're outside, even if you're alone and walking your dog, you need to wear a mask." It's like, why?
Yeah.
We go for walks in the park and stuff. We don't do that, and no one at the park does either. I mean,
Well, that sounds like
once in a
pandering
while
to
someone does.
that's pandering to
They're
Karens right
not.
there. So I got a question though about you guys working. Do you guys both find it like really? Do you guys think it's especially you, Matt? Do you think it's gonna hinder efficiency, like work actually getting done at the same level that it was before?
Honestly, no. But see, we're not under as strict of guidelines
Oh, that's true. That's
as
true.
what it appears Greg is. We
Um,
only have a select few that have to wear a mask, and it hasn't really been that big of a deal.
That's cool.
for me, a little bit. I just look at it like I'm not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's stuffy, it's hot, it's uncomfortable. I'm already an asthmatic, so I don't like feeling like my breathing's restricted. It already is restricted, so it's just I don't know. Yeah,
Can
for me,
can't can't you get a some kind of doctor's note or something that says because of your asthma you should not be wearing a mask?
no, no.
No,
You
I mean,
sure about
I
that? Because
I could
heard of
say I
it.
can't go back in the office
yeah.
because of something like that. I could just say I'm working from home, which is honestly what I'm leaning towards because now I get to wait. I can wake up at 5 in the morning or 5:30 whenever I wake up, start working, get my work done. Have my day, and that work schedule corresponds with my wife. And so that's really good. But also some of the other stuff I was doing is obviously not going out to eat a lot, cooking food, doing the Peloton, and we're taking walks all the time too as part of more general fitness stuff. So
So the
there's
government really has saved your life, is what you're saying.
it has saved my life. Yeah, saved me personally. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting take.
Yeah.
But I guess my point is, emotionally and all that stuff, I would do better at home. I'm already probably just as efficient at home. You know, you can't be completely efficient as you were at work. When you can actually talk to people face to face, and it could be like, really quick.
It de-
You could turn around.
yeah, it depends.
But
I actually found I was more productive at home
yeah,
because I had less interruption.
I, s-
That was actually really nice.
I was helping other people on multiple jobs. So some days it's like that. Some days I get all the people that I'm kind of overseeing calling me one after the other, and it's just like I can't get anything done. It's just like me being at the work.
So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is going to be something long term? Do you think maybe
No.
just end of the summer, or do you think that until like some people believe that some of these things are going to stay until vaccines come up?
Yeah,
What do you guys
new
take on
norm.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
bullshit.
going to be. I think they're going to keep these guidelines in place until there's a vaccine. There's a lot of companies that don't even plan on coming back until to the office until next year.
Do you
Like
think that's
Quick and
legality issues or them just
I
really
it's
playing
an
it safe?
abundance of caution and legality, right?
What about you,
Yeah,
Matt?
so I know Quicken Loans isn't coming back. They're basically just told them that they probably won't come back this year up here in Detroit. So
Wow.
Hmm. I don't know. I kind of have a different take on it, but I think it really all depends on how it's received and how these next few weeks and months go. Because if everyone is nice and obedient and following the rules, then I don't see why anything would change. But I mean, as we've already seen, there's been a lot of protests
Yeah.
regarding a lot of this, and we'll see if that ramp. I mean, you talk about the George Floyd issue. I mean, number one, that's a horrible thing that happened. But I think a lot of the rioting and everything going on right now is because everyone is so wound tight because of this whole COVID mess.
Yeah. What do you think that you talked about following rules and things like that? Uh,
Yeah.
with all these riots, I mean, no one's following any guidelines, uh, be
oh,
it
those rioters
states or
have
No,
masks on.
cities.
they do have masks.
They have masks on, Mike.
Some of them,
Yeah.
yeah, but they're not. So just saying, some of them have masks. Not all of them. Some of them do. Some of them don't.
Not all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some of them were just wearing masks to cover their face.
Yeah,
Well, sure. I mean,
not from
Antifa's been
COVID,
doing
but
that for years.
protection of
I
law.
mean, you're throwing in explosives into CNN headquarters, and
Yeah, in Atlanta.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't. There's no time. No time for
Yeah.
social distancing. So
There's no
Right.
time for it. Ain't having none of that. Yeah, but it's crazy
Yeah.
though. Like you don't hear people talking about social distancing and COVID-19 as they're going on about these riots. They're keeping them completely separated. It seems like
Yeah,
it's
which
a narrative
you know,
disruption.
it's an interesting point because you had which news station was that where they had the reporter outside over Memorial Day, and you know he's mentioning how all these people aren't wearing masks, and they're like, "Oh my God, are they not concerned for their health and safety?" And he's like, "No, they're not." And he points to this guy. Did you guys see this? He points to the guy. He's like, "See, he's not wearing a mask." And the guy says, "Yeah, neither's your cameraman." I loved it. It was
Oh, that's great.
fantastic. And then he's like, "Neither is half your crew." And then the guy was filming around, and it was true. They weren't wearing masks, and so it's like, you know, they really believe it? You know, is the thing.
Well, yeah,
They're out
it's
there preaching it and
no, they're
scaring everybody.
the media's trash. It's garbage. Don't watch the news.
yeah, it's the
That's my
hypocrisy of it all.
hot take.
I mean, even look at
That's-
the
yeah.
It's terrible.
the White House. They're wearing their mask when it's filming, but you know, behind the scenes, they're sitting there talking. They remove their masks. Like, hey, we're off camera. It's all fine now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you see that constantly. You see Trump coming to Michigan, walking around the Ford plant, has a mask on. When he goes to talk to the press, give a little speech, he removes it. And Michigan AG flips out about it. But then you see
Yeah, it's great.
her and Whitmer, that they go and do speeches. They remove their masks as well. That when they walk around, they wear it. But when they go to talk, they take it off. It's the complete
Mike, they only
hypocrisy
take
of
it off when they are 6 feet away from everybody.
That's a lot.
Yeah, don't bring up Big Gretch like that, Mike. She will hear you
Very
and
rude.
come after
Hey,
you.
you know, this is how the Gretch stole summer. She already done it, so whatever. She needs to let her heart grow three sizes more.
I think she's
Nice.
doing fine, I guess. I don't know. Some of this is overreaching, obviously, but I
Some?
think we should. Yeah, it was the boating, the time when they restricted going on boating, fishing, and going up north, which I understand some of the reasons for the going up north one, but it's like, come on, at the same time, it's your property. So the one thing that's lost in all of this, in my mind, is yeah, there's a safety factor and there's these guidelines, but there's also we still have rights, and there's still the Constitution, and I
What's
know it's a piece of paper that someone wrote.
Oh,
Some of the
Wrote
stuff
down.
scratched out, but you could still read it.
all right. Yeah. So you know, to your point, Mike, it's like everything is COVID and people aren't wearing masks and safety, safety, safety. Now, over all this rioting, you really don't hear any of that. It could be one of two things. I mean, obviously, what's going on is pretty crazy, and is full. It's a full story in and of itself, so they don't feel the need to go there. I don't know. I mean, this rioting is getting pretty bad.
Yeah,
I don't-
across the
I saw they
country.
brought in the National Guard for Minneapolis.
I think they're writing in Detroit too.
Detroit, Columbus, Brooklyn,
Well, protesting.
New York.
I don't know if it's a
No,
riot.
there were some riots.
Yeah, we
areas
should
in
separate
Detroit.
some.
There were some things
Because
destroyed.
protesting, good. Rioting,
Rioting, bad.
bad.
Yeah,
Right?
right. So, but
I
there
mean,
are riots that happened in Detroit, Columbus, Brooklyn, New York, obviously Atlanta with the CNN. I think somewhere out west too. It might have been Arizona, but I completely could be wrong. But it's sporadically showing up and popping up, and you know if that keeps happening,
Yeah.
it's like dominoes falling. And before we even started, I brought this up to Greg. Bring it up to you too. Like I've seen all over social media, people are comparing these riots to the Boston Tea Party. You know, where the Americans were rebelling against obviously England and destroying the tea that they were being forced pretty much to drink and be extra taxed on. Obviously,
Okay, here's
I
the
think that's
difference.
apples to oranges. What are you guys' takes on that?
Well, here's a little bit of a difference: is that these rioters are destroying people's businesses that have absolutely nothing to do with what's going on. I mean,
That depends on who you ask, right?
That's true.
who are you asking?
Well, there's a couple thoughts on that. There's some saying that there's these agents provocateurs, which is pretty much undercover police. They're the ones starting the riots, get those going. And then another one is, and the news is seeing this, is it's white Antifa. So apparently there's only white people in Antifa, but it is.
I went in more.
Starting this.
My meaning is much more pure, right? So obviously, of the white privilege and all that stuff. So some people would see just people who own things, and white people, just in general, is being part of that.
White people aren't the only people that own things, Greg. I mean,
I know that. I get that, but I mean,
how could they even say that? Just like that.
You assume
Cup Foods. I mean, I don't know what his background is, but he's not a Caucasian male. So
what about the former firefighter Bala, who saved up, has a family, saves up Minneapolis, I believe it was Minneapolis. He saves up, buys his dream bar, gets it all ready to open up. They come, they trash it. He cleans it up. The community comes, helps clean it up, and he's getting ready for grand opening. And then they come back, riders do, and they burn it to the ground. He lost everything. Yeah. Luckily, the GoFundMe was started, and they got over $400,000 or something like that now, so he can take his family away for a little while, get a vacay, and then come back and rebuild. Thankfully, and that's the community coming together. But it's not just. I mean, even low-income housings are being destroyed. So it's not just white privileged businesses. It's
I didn't say that. I'm just saying when you said that. No one could possibly say these people had nothing to do with it. No, there is an ideology out there that would put some blame on them. And that's reality. You can say they're wrong. That. I'm just telling you that. I guarantee you that some of those people that are rioting think that.
No, that's a good point. It's mob mentality, too. I mean, once something starts going, it's mob mentality. So that makes a good point.
Some ways it's justified. I mean, how many times have you seen that? Sorry, how many times you see that?
Justified is a little.
See what? Hold on. See what?
You see a black man in custody get beat out of, or not. They're allowed to die. We've seen it over and over again, and I know certain segments of that community, and that's all they see, right? They're not gonna go and look for statistics. They just see the headlines. And that's the headlines you see every time.
But now, is it...
Well, sure, yeah.
Who's responsible for that? Is it them not looking it up, get the statistics? Or is it the press responsibility?
I'm not going to push blame in it. I don't know.
I mean, this is the problem. No matter what the statistics are, I don't care if it's 1,000,000 to 1 whites killed by cops over blacks killed by cops. I don't even care. This one instance, which... has to be one of the absolute worst instances that I've ever seen. It is enough to merit a response, absolutely.
And by one of the worst officers we've ever seen. This guy's been charged for stuff like this before.
Royal douchebag.
Yeah.
Him and the other guy. What was his name? Tao, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that's just passively standing there.
Yeah, exactly. They're both right.
Yeah.
So obviously it merits a response, but the response has to be directed at the appropriate people and the appropriate places.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Okay, you're right. It doesn't, but it should. It should be.
It doesn't have to be anything.
No, but the bad thing is that there were 4 cops there, and nobody stopped it. That makes it, if it was 1 cop, you can say it's just one bad apple. When you have 4 cops that are there and none of them do a damn thing about it.
Well, I think 2 of them did end up saying, "Hey, let them up," but that's all they said. They should have taken responsibility.
I didn't see that.
This is
done. Someone should have tackled that mother effer.
Call the supervisor, get him over here, do something, right?
I've already swore a few times, man. It's cool.
But nobody's used the F-bomb yet, so...
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh, all right.
If we don't want it, Mike can fix it in post.
I don't want to fix it in post. This is ridiculous.
Mike. Beep.
Yeah. No, somebody should have taken that down, and they didn't. So
Yeah, they should be tried for manslaughter.
yeah.
Yeah, at the very
You know
least,
what
I mean that's what
interesting-
we see. It should be manslaughter at the very
Well,
minimum.
yeah, and
At the minimum.
I'm not saying every one of those cops should, go to jail either, but definitely a guy with, your knee on the dude's neck, and
Yeah.
you hear this guy pleading,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, this
I'm
is the thing is, you
Go.
hear the guy pleading, and everybody is saying that you're killing this man. He can't breathe, so on, so on. Everybody
Yeah.
within earshot, every cop within earshot of that, yeah, should go to jail at the very least.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I don't know how far that should go. Definitely the white guy, unfortunately, with the knee and the guy's neck, obviously should go to jail. No questions asked. The
Yeah.
rest of the guys, that's harder to say.
Manslaughter, maximum penalty.
They should have been fired. That's appropriate.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, let the system sort them out. But this might be a case where, honestly, they should all just have the book thrown at them. I hate the one thing I do hate about all this stuff is every time a police officer does something like that, and they just let them walk. And
Yeah.
I don't
No,
like that.
no
And,
doubt.
and I'm
Yeah.
and let's be straight here because people don't know us, but Mike and I come from a family with a lot of cops and lots of dirty cops.
Some dirty, some clean.
Some
But
clean.
we're pretty much pro police in the aspect if they do their job the way they're supposed to do it. If they
Yeah.
are
Sure.
literally serving and protecting.
But if you
that's how we were
execute some
raised.
guy, or you put someone in bodily harm like that, then yeah, you should go to jail. That's freaking manslaughter.
Yes.
Like I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. And if the system worked, if the justice system worked, there shouldn't be a need for protesting and rioting in the streets.
No.
No.
And that's why they're rioting. Like if the prosecutor came out and said, they're fired and we're bringing up on charges,
Yeah.
I think this would have been protests and not riots.
Now the problem is there has to be, although the
has to
video was very clear, but there has to be investigation. Obviously, you can't just bring up charges without the whole story.
Yeah,
And
but they
obviously
could have
they
still
have
held him
body
for
cam
48
footage.
hours. And if they would have held him for
Sure.
48 hours,
No,
Yeah,
no,
they
no.
would have found the evidence and then
I
charge him.
disagree. You have the video. That's all you need to arrest someone. They would have had all the evidence they needed within, like Mike said, the 48 hours.
Yeah.
I would think in this case, absolutely. Yeah.
All they do is say, "Hey, we're charging you for whatever felony assault, whatever it may be," and then they upgrade the charge later once they have the evidence.
Yeah, the DA
whatever.
could easily do that. Be like,
Yeah.
all right, we were looking at federal assault. Now we're going to bang you up to manslaughter at bare minimum. We're going to look into this more.
Yeah. Now
but you ain't leaving.
the other thing in this instance is that the cops claimed that he was resisting arrest to begin with. So I'm sure they wanted to look at the body cam footage, which I'm sure it proved that he was not, because everything I've seen does not show any resistance at all.
If anything,
mean,
it was
obviously
passive,
did
which he's
something,
allowed
right?
to do. I mean, you're allowed to do passive
Yeah.
resistance. You just go limp. You're like, whatever. You got to pick me up. You got to put me in the cop car. I ain't helping you.
Yeah, and a lot of these police officers, they get, they're kind of hard. If you're not going to listen to me, well, I'll show you why you should listen to me, and then people die.
And this was over a counterfeit bill. That's the crazy thing. A counterfeit bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But-
really sad. It really
Did
is.
you guys see the news? I believe that this has been verified.
I don't watch the news.
That on the internet you can find the verification that the white cop with his knee on his neck and Floyd, that they both worked at the same place last year as security, which is weird.
Really? No, I have not heard this on
yeah.
anything.
The white cop had worked there for like 17 years. I don't know how long Floyd had worked there. But I guess there's like a couple dozen security guards that work there, so they're
he
saying
should have known
they
him.
may not have known him. But
Come on.
I just
Couple
don't
dozen?
know if I believe that.
That dude
Yeah.
worked there 17 years and a couple dozen people worked there?
Right.
I worked
Yeah,
at my
so that-
work for 7 years, and there's like 140 people. I know almost everyone.
Right?
Yeah, it's
You know?
called. I think it's called El Nuevo Rodeo or something like that. There's a nightclub. that they work
Oh,
security.
wow.
But I mean, that's
So
an
this could go
odd-
deeper than we even know. Like if he
there
actually
could
knew
be some
him.
personal implications. But
Yeah.
then again, you know, when
And
you say
again,
that, it's like,
they may not
well,
ever cross. It could just be an
Yeah, that's
agency
true.
that had people, hey, show up at this shift, and they
yeah,
never
it's
worked with each
possible.
other, or they
It's
did, and it's
possible.
dark, and then you don't talk as a security guard, right? You're manning your door, they're manning their door, or whatever.
Yeah, you got walkies. It's not like
Yeah.
you're sitting there.
Yeah, I
telling
don't want
each
any
other's
hot
personal
takes here
stories.
saying we have a hot scoop on anything because we have no idea.
But we don't have a hot scoop on anything.
This
I'm
just
saying
in.
that link has been drawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of links being drawn right now. A lot of them is being like proven false. They're saying that one of the cops involved is the one that started. Well, I don't know if he was involved, but he was a cop in Minneapolis. He started the fire at the AutoZone and all this, and it's being passed around like it's gospel. It's all over Facebook. Just you see this, and you say anything about it being false, and you just get attacked. And I'm like, no, here's an article that breaks it down. Dude has alibis. Like, there's no way that it looks like he.
We should all know from the Jesse Smollett and all these other articles and news things that come out that you should wait for the information to come out and not pick a side.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have the video. You could pick a side on
George Floyd. Yeah, that's where you can.
George Floyd. But in terms of this other stuff, like, let's not jump to conclusions before we have all the information.
No, everyone wants to jump on something. You know, they see something, they hear something, they just jump right on it.
Everybody wants the news first. They want to have it.
Yeah, exactly. I have seen that video. It's a weird video of that you're talking about, where they say that this is
the umbrella and the gas mask. That guy.
It's a weird video because that guy with the pizza box who like goes up and tries to stop him. Like, there's another video where you see them just,
from
like, walking together. Weird.
You get this video from Infowars.com.
Well, video
no,
doesn't
everywhere.
lie. I'm not saying
making the frogs gay.
The video.
They are making the frogs gay.
I'm not making any conclusions, but it is a weird video. The guy is going around with an umbrella and just methodically breaking glass. It's just bizarre. I mean, he could just be a lunatic, but
he just like breaking glass.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Could be his thing.
But
he's a glass breaker. Stay away from him, man.
Even if, and I'm not saying that this is true, but even if there was some undercover cop trying to start up, that's not what all of the riot is. Even if there was a cop going around breaking windows, they're just too big.
It seems like a lot of people are just trying to pass the blame on things. It's like, why can't we say, hey, both these things are wrong. Protests, and I'll join you in that protest.
Yeah.
What happened to George Floyd is horrific and should not happen. It just should not.
Yeah.
And it should not be allowed or tolerated, not by the police, by their government, not by society itself. But now you see these riots where people are losing their businesses, their homes, when we already know that we're going to have some economic downturn. We already are because of what's going on with COVID. We should be allowed to say, hey, that's wrong. But there's so much pushback to say, well, no, this is just they're protesting. And it's like, no, like, it's always wrong. I don't like it when a college goes crazy when they win a game and they flip a car and burn it. I think that's wrong. You're destroying private property. Go after the public property. Go after burn a government structure down. I'm not saying that you should. I'll just say that the animosity towards your own neighborhood is ridiculous. You shouldn't be. I understand that they shouldn't do it, but I understand why they'd go after cop cars, right? Like, you're like, hey,
if you dox someone, Mike, we're shutting you down.
That's who you're. I ain't talking to anybody. I'm not doxing anyone. So, but another thing is that going after homes, private businesses that are serving your community, are paying taxes in your community, are there like so you can get stuff that you need, fix your car, your Wendy's, your McDonald's. You tell me you don't shop there?
Yeah.
Like, get out of here. Why would you burn that down? All you're going to do is most likely it's a franchise, like a family who's worked their way up. You're just hurting your own community. And I think we should be allowed to say both are wrong. And they shouldn't be pushed back.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Play a little devil's advocate.
No, that's me, Matt. You're taking my role. You're taking my role.
Sorry, Satan. Forgive me. No, but from the other side, if we have all these cases where these guys get killed by a cop and nothing happens,
I mean,
and
like
all
the
of a sudden
last 50 years.
okay, right, and all of a sudden you start breaking, being loud, stealing, property damage, all this stuff, and then you get results. From the other side, it looks like, well, that's the level you have to be at to get the results.
But I think the reason that they did the charges so
mean-
fast and did anything was because they were trying not to allow a protest to start. That's why they were kind of jumping on it right away. And it
Let's
still
be honest,
happened.
though. Protesting doesn't do